Project Diablo 2, a lesson in evangelism marketing. We'll start my next video essay on PD2 at an obvious starting point. Valheim. If you haven't checked this game out, you damn well should. Valheim is best described as a Minecraft clone set in a procedurally generated Viking afterlife, because that's exactly how the developers describe what they're making. The game was released in February 2021 as an early access title, and is still actually set for its real release date sometime in the future. Despite being in early access, the game was ported over to Xbox One in March of 2023, because after 2 years in early access, as an incomplete game, the massive success was just too much to ignore for the very small coffee-stained studios. First off, the game is beautiful. I mean, goddamn beautiful. The pixelated 90s feel is contrasted splendidly with the high-resolution sunsets that it has an ambiance to a video game that I don't think I've ever seen before. And like most survival Minecrafty style clones, you pick up items and get recipes to make more items and bases and blah blah blah. You've seen this type of game before. What made Valheim, developed by this tiny little studio, such a massive success, that there's now unrealistic expectations for little indie games, was that they knew how to cater to their core audience, those early adopters who have the time, energy, and wherewithal to advertise their game for them the old-fashioned way. Word of mouth. This is a real known thing in marketing, and it's called evangelism marketing. The ballooning content creator community will make videos to advertise your product for you, if they like it enough. So yes, you do need a good game first, but as long as you keep catering to those who will shout its praises from the mountaintops, those fans that will shout the loudest, and keep your gaming community healthy. That brings us to Valheim and a core game mechanic that exemplifies this: metal farming. In Valheim, you run around and farm metals as the most precious resource for your game advancement, and it forces you into spending time getting those valuable resources. They're not transportable through portals, like in regular gameplay. So you have to admire the sunsets, you have to sail around, you have to build a ship and explore. It forces the players who are truly interested in the style of survival games to play a survival game and not just a farming simulator. It forces you to sail across the ocean and admire that sunset, because what else are you going to do on your 15 to 30 minute voyage home? As Valheim became more popular, the casual gamers, a term you all know I hate, demanded for the portal ban on metals to be removed, and the developers gave them a big fat fucking no. They knew exactly who their core base was, and they needed to keep the game catering to those who would take the long route home farming metals, because they would experience more of a true Valheim game and continue to market it for them, something very necessary to such a small studio. On the opposite end of the spectrum, we could look at Star Wars The Old Republic, which, as many MMOs were, was designed to be a WoW killer. Now, they had the right idea, creating punishing raids and complex DPS rotations to cater to the hardcores, but completely fell off the development of new raids when most of their raid leads quit and were let go. The game completely lost the narrative on what drove people to it in the first place, and remember, this was an MMO small enough that you couldn't even find good guides on popular websites. You had fans make their own websites and shout the praises of the game because they were the fans with the most time and energy to do so. Hell, there was even a Guildmasters Summit run by a mega fan, and all the GMs, we would meet up and petition for changes to the game. And the devs never listened and kept making more fashion show boxes for casuals to open and play dress up in space. And the game died. I mean, let's look at the first raid of Swatter, which was Eternity Vault. This wasn't a particularly punishing raid mechanically, but there were two very steep DPS checks, one at the very start of the raid and one before the final boss. The first check stressed not just the DPS but the healers, and well, that's a standard check for most MMOs. What makes this special? It was the second fight, which was Infernal Council. While others fights, your tryhards can carry and make up for the shitters in your raid group. We've all had that guy we like, and we keep him around as the 4th, 5th DPS, but we know he's getting carried. But the dev team removed that from the Infernal Council fight. Every member of your group had to pair up one-on-one and match up with an appropriately scaled mini-boss. DPS got ones with huge health pools, tanks got middle, and the healers got the lowest. But there was no heal check. They made the healers DPS. Don't know your DPS skills as a healer? Fuck you, you're gonna fail. And your teammates can only shoot one shot on the enemy, or a debuff goes off and makes it unkillable. That's the level Swatter was catering to. We don't care, we don't hold your hand, even the tanks and healers must know DPS rotations or you can't raid at the highest level in Star Wars. The game set itself up in a perfect way to get the community to run their own websites and break down the game, and then they just stopped putting out raids. The evangelists left for other games. Now, Project Diablo 2 is in more of a similar position to Valheim as opposed to Swatter. It has no marketing. It's us. That's what they've got. And who are the core players for PD2 who are going to shout its praises from the mountaintops? They're the declone farmers, the early torch spammers, the map crazies that need to clear just 15 seconds faster. That fucking guy buying up all the materials and posting them for declone items. You know, it's a sad fact, but PD2 and all games really need to keep catering to those who have the most time. The no-lifers, the tryhards, the sweats. It's a key to success for any small game that can't just make millions in sales by slapping an old IP on some generic shit stack. This is also why I have absolutely no hope for Diablo 4 as being anything more than a summer fling. I mean, they don't even know their core audience as evidenced from the beta controversies. They're more interested in flashy gimmicks like cosmetic items, as if people forced to wear green skulls for years care about or character fashion. I mean, after so many years, don't you actually like the look of the vamp gaze? I do, but we shouldn't, because it's fucking ugly. Moreover, I think the controversy, in quotations there, surrounding me and my little video essays comes from me bitching about two things. The community, and the fact that we should be catering to those tryhards who will advertise the game through evangelism marketing. I mean, you can look at the growth of my own channel as to why this works. I'm not getting bigger because I'm good. To be honest, I don't even know why you all listen to me doomsaying. I am getting bigger because my competition has left. A lot of PD2 YouTubers have moved on to the much more lucrative D2R and D4 bitch fests. So you're left with me and a few others doing this evangelism marketing. I fully expect some of the newer guys putting in more effort than me and doing better content to take over soon, luckily, but I think my point still holds. So to the PD2 devs, I mean, keep doing what you're doing, but every time we, and I believe the phrase Senpai used was bend the knee, we always take a step closer to becoming Swatter instead of Valheim. Small steps are fine, giant leaps lead into the pit. And there's no microtransactions to stabilize us here. It's pure server donations. And I damn well know, and the devs damn well know, the people who are donating to the servers. It's the tryhards, it's the sweats, it's the no-lifers. See you guys later.